While we're in an area where we're speaking about weirdos, I wanna talk a bit about this. There was a really long article in Vice entitled "The Most Measured Man in History." It's a fascinating read. I'd encourage people to check it out. But there's also sound that we can play. This video of a 45-year-old CEO named Bryan Johnson. Guess how much money he spent in a year to slow down his aging?
Oh, is that what The Most Measured Man was about? I thought this was like a dick enlarging thing.
Well, don't you worry. He also measures his erections on a daily basis. He is not shockingly associated with PayPal. Feel like every weird billionaire or not billionaire at the very least, though, wealthy people that we speak about in this space, some association with PayPal. He founded a platform called Braintree, then acquired Venmo in 2012, became a very wealthy man, and then bought PayPal for $800 million a little while later. So he became quite rich, and he's using his vast resources to try to live forever and not age. This is something we heard a few months ago. I think we played with you guys from Jared Kushner when he was saying, who knows, the modern technology, we could live forever. These like vampires have this entitlement because of their vast resources that they are above the rest of the human species and are immune from death and can buy their way out of it. But here's this freak, and I'm pretty sure he looks 45, but you guys can just be the judge.
This one is metformin. This is given typically to diabetics. It's been also taken off label for longevity purposes. The people who I admired the most did things typically over a multi-decade time frame. People who in their time and place, they survey the landscape of things that they can do, and they identify the thing that can barely be seen and say, I'm going to try to do that thing. Yeah, good. Here comes the scary pictures. I started Braintree when I was 27 years old. I bootstrapped the company for the first 4 years, and we were profitable every month. And then I raised money, and we sold it for $800 million, and then I made $300 million of that. At the age of 34, I thought it's time to try to do something meaningful on that kind of multi-decade timescale.
By the way, he put this up on
my objective of Blueprint is to demonstrate aging escape velocity using the best science, trying to do all the appropriate interventions to neutralize my aging process. 1.8, so even better than last time. So I think my first one was 3.4. A few things have distinguished what I've done to date. As far as I know, I'm the only person that has publicly posted my data. So I'm not saying, here's my protocol and believe me. I'm saying, here's my protocol, here's all my data, and here's what I'm experimenting with next, and here's where I've made mistakes, and here's where I'm trying to fix it. It's really a stacked process of maybe 100 different things I do, because you have to think about the body in its entirety. 118, is that right? Mm-hmm. How the heart ages is different than how the lungs age, and how the lungs age is different than how the brain ages. You have to really think about it from a holistic perspective. So it's the common things like diet and exercise, but it's also a much broader consideration. So I have a team of doctors that I work with, and we just go through this rigorous process of measurement, gold standard science, implementation, measurement. It's produced near perfect health for me. No matter how extreme I've had to be, no matter how eccentric people perceive me to be, because I'm outside the norms, demonstrating that age can be arrested would change everything. This one is...
All right, that's starting over. But let me just, before you guys weigh in, let me just read the beginning of this Vice piece for you. The night before we met, Bryan Johnson didn't get up once to pee. The development excited him greatly because it was proof his plan was working. In previous weeks, Johnson had been spending 30 minutes at a time sitting on top of an electromagnetic machine to strengthen his pelvic floor. The contraption, which feels like two small hands repeatedly punching you in the sensitive region in quick succession, is typically for women who are hoping to rebuild strength after birth, but Johnson wanted to use it for something else. Thoughts?
I mean, the man does not look young.
No,
he's in
he
his
just looks like an alien.
He looks. I mean, he looks like he's definitely younger than like Tilda Swinton, and he looks older than her and looks like her. Like looks
he looks like a Twilight cast member. But the dad,
I thought he looked like Conan O'Brien too. But again, Conan looks better than that guy, and Conan's definitely older than him. I don't know.
Conan is 59 years old, by the way.
Sam Seder looks like
Sam is older than him, and he looks 10 to 12 years younger than him.
Yeah.
This is not science. This is like, this man might have a brain injury.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is a mental illness.
This is an eating disorder.
He looks much older than he is. Yes, his skin, the genes he received from his family. Dude is not. Maybe he shouldn't be the poster boy of this project.
I mean, there's a word for people who like overeat or who are overly healthy for like to the pathological sense, called orthorexia, I think. Like, a version of anorexia where like you only eat healthy stuff. But, if you believe his goal, it seems like, it's entirely about quantity of life and not quality of life, because in order to do all of this stuff, it takes his every day. It's an everyday set of testing and working out and eating very specific things. You're not really living life. At that point, you've just become like, the most basic type of organism, like an amoeba, just trying to go from like one day to the next. And, it just also seems like it's not going to work. Like in that way. Like, if we, they're working on like rejuvenation technology all across the board. But, you have like scientists who are working on like gene therapies to cure like degenerative diseases in the brain and the heart. And that's like, rejuvenation therapy too. And then you have like a cottage industry of like doctors and other health professionals that seem to just like prey on elderly millionaires to give them like young people blood transfusions in like San Francisco, because there's just like an aging 50 plus demographic of like tech millionaires now who are all desperately afraid of dying, and think that their money is going to prevent it in a way that is like tangible, like, if I just like eat the right things every day. It was like, if in 40 years we have gene therapies that like help us, or more medications that help us live longer than we live now, it won't be because this guy is like jogging 30 minutes a day with like a breathing tube in his mouth. It'll be because like science has advanced to that point. Separate from that, this is just like, a grift for some doctors.
It's just amazing because we have seen life expectancy in this country drop over the past few years. Part of that's due to COVID, but part of that is because we have a completely sociopathic healthcare system where it's 20% of US GDP and our outcomes are as poor as it gets when it comes to comparable countries. It's because it's for profit. And this guy feels like he can be in any way a sound example for the rest of the country when he's spending $2 million a year just on this. Like, this is not something that can be replicated. This is just a way for rich people to make themselves, in their eyes, closer to gods, immortal. But clearly, like, just some of the details of this, he eats exactly 1,977 calories a day, as well as over 100 supplements a day, pills. And he uses an ultrasound machine and other medical grade machinery on the second floor of his discrete compound in Venice. And he has over 30 doctors on his payroll and on his team. I don't know. If I was a billionaire, the amount I would just be doing the opposite of this, or a multimillionaire. I don't know about you. I'd be living my life. He seems like very unhappy.
I would certainly invest in different things. I would probably try to invest that $2 million into building a robot my brain could be put in, not like jogging every day. You can do that anyway. Like it just seems like a waste of money. Yeah. Like he's trying to bootstrap immortality as opposed to like investing that money. At least Elon Musk is doing that Neuralink thing. It might kill every monkey on the planet, including us, but like it's certainly a better idea for immortality than like take a bunch of fish oil pills every morning. Like I could give you that.